Hi everyone, my name is Tim Jeffrey. I'm part of the community of St Giles in Desborough, and I'm recording this on New Year's Day, so Happy New Year. And New Year, isn't it? It's a time when we reflect, when we look back over the past year or longer, and we look forward to what's coming ahead. In our house, we're very excited about a new baby coming, a first granddaughter in the next few weeks. So that makes 2025 seem quite exciting. But I've also been thinking about who is shaping my life. Maybe what is shaping my life? Who am I listening to? What am I reading? What am I watching on TV? What's shaping me? Maybe what are the values from my upbringing, from the parenting I've had, from the society around me, the people I mix with? What's all that is actually shaping who I am? Is actually making me who I am, making me react in the ways that I react? I recognise that I, probably like most people, most of the time work on autopilot. I'm going through my life reacting to things in the way that have become habit to me, in the way that I engage with people, in my attitudes about money or possessions. All of these things, so much of them, they're just habitual, aren't they? But I've been thinking a bit more about, well, what is it? What are those things that are actually shaping me? What are maybe the ruts I've got into of attitudes or behaviours? And it's kind of like the question, what's the way that I'm living? What's my way of life? What way of being am I following? Now, you probably guessed where I'm going with this, because I know you may have heard this from me before. But actually, 500 years BC, the people of Israel had been in exile, they'd been exiled from their homeland. They finally realised that the way they were trying to be God's people wasn't working. They kept getting it wrong. And so what they began to do was began to dream of and look for, and the prophets prophesied about a new way of following God. That way in Greek is hodos, a new way, a new hodos. They were looking for a Messiah, a Christ who would come and show them this new way, this new hodos, this new way of believing, of living, that would deal with so many of the problems that they faced in their way that wasn't working. And so when Jesus comes along, and one of his most famous sayings is, I am the way. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the hodos, he said. I am the way. I am what you've been looking for, this new way of doing things. And so the first disciples, what did they call themselves before they were called Christian? Because at the time, actually, being called a Christian was almost a sort of swear word. It was derogatory. Actually, they called themselves followers of the way. Followers of the way of Jesus, the hodos of Jesus. And you see, what Jesus was looking for, and what he came and when he went to people, he saw somebody, a young man who he saw something in. What would he say to them? Come, follow me. Come and follow my way of doing things. Come and see how I live. And that was what disciples and rabbis did. A disciple would come and they would follow the rabbi. They would learn to do what the rabbi did, to spend time with the rabbi, to become like them, to take on their way of living, their way of interacting with people, their way of thinking. And, Jesus calls us not to just be converts, not just to be people who are sent to some things in our heads or turn up to church by habit, which is not a bad thing to do, but, it's not what he's looking for. Actually, he's looking for people to be followers of his way of living, which is the way that is going to bring us the most life. He said, I've come to give you life, and life in all its fullness. Live my way. Take on my hodos. And so as we enter into 2025, we're starting a new series, and hopefully you've been hearing something about it, about practicing the way, practicing the hodos, practicing the way of Jesus. Actually, so that as a community of people, we're saying, actually, we don't just want to learn about Jesus. We don't just want to think about doing good things. Actually, we want to try this. We don't want to just be hearers of the word, as James says, but doers also. And so we're starting this new series in this new year, this Practicing the Way series. Thinking about it, but not stopping there, but practicing it. So the encouragement is new groups are starting, and some old ones are shifting what they do to be practicing the way groups, where together we're going to learn over the coming year, what does it mean to follow Jesus? What's that really mean in my everyday life? And to work together as a community to help each other to do that. Each Sunday there'll be a sermon, so if you can't be there, try and listen to it on YouTube afterwards, that will be picking out some element of what it means to be a disciple of Jesus, what it means to practice the way. As I was thinking about doing this thought for the day, I remembered a brilliant quote from Theodore Roosevelt. I know not all quotes from American presidents are probably ones to be listened to, but I think this one probably is. And it's a challenge to us. Let me read it to you. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who sits on the side and points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. Friends, will you make 2025 yourself, with us as a community, the year where we dare greatly, where we don't just sit on the sides and come to church and hear things and sing and do what we do, but actually the year where we really jump in and say, no, I want to be in the arena. I want to be doing this. I want to be learning what it really means to live the way of Jesus, to live the way, the hodos, to be knowing that abundant life. Will you join us? Will you join us? Join a group, get the book, listen to the sermons, get involved. Let's learn together to be the people that Jesus wants us to be, the community he wants us to be. That's how this world is going to change, when we change it in our own ways, together, as followers of the way of Jesus. Amen.